Actually, we'll go ahead and take another question since we're kind of on CW in a way.
Okay.
Where is that?
There we go.
The time has arrived. And this is Derek Daniel.
Shout out to Earth 2 Derek.
His freaking thesis statements here.
He's got like 6 of them.
The epic 4-night CWDC show crossover is upon us. Do you have any expectations for it, and do you think they should do more of these down the road in the future seasons?
I will preface this by saying I have never watched Supergirl, and I have not watched this season of Legends of Tomorrow. I've heard great things about it, but I just haven't caught up on it yet. Flash has gotten off to a slow start, but the last few weeks have been really good. Arrow has been phenomenal from episode 1 up to now. I'm very excited for it. One, I'm very curious to see how Supergirl interacts like with the Legends and with Oliver, because Flash has been on Supergirl before.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see that dynamic. And it's in addition to the 4-part crossover, it's Arrow's 100th episode.
Oh, that's cool.
And they've released the synopsis for it. Oliver wakes up in a world where he never got on the Queen's Gambit. So he never became the Green Arrow.
Does he know he was Green Arrow, or
that I'm not sure of? My guess would be he does, but like him and Laurel are engaged because remember they were together before he left.
Yeah.
Both his parents are alive, and I don't know if he's going to take the mask off, but they have shown glimpses of Deathstroke.
Ooh.
And if Manu Bennett comes back for this episode, I'm going to flip out.
Oh, I would. I'll put an arrow in his eye.
I made you a promise, kid. But no, I'm really excited for the crossover. I've loved when Flash and Arrow have done theirs, and I hope they do. I hope they do this like once a season.
Yeah,
do like a 4-part crossover with all the shows.
Like, there's no reason not to. You've got all of these properties. Why not use them? Use them to make something really cool.
Yeah,
it's like freaking Super Friends, like the Battle of the Super Friends or whatever it was, like where Legion of Doom and the Super Friends would like fight. Those were the best episodes. Like the Super Friends show was cool, but Battle of the Super, yeah.
I'm really excited for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Haven't caught up with it. So there you go. There you go. Now this news right here hurts me deeply.
It hurts me deeply too.
A Boba Fett, a Star Wars. What? A Boba Fett.
Nice job, IGN, with the typo.
Man, last week and this week, Boba Fett, a Star Wars story announcement was canceled at the last minute in 2015. Not only was the long-rumored Boba Fett Star Wars anthology movie a growing concern? What is up with these people? Jesus Christ, learn how to write. But a teaser reel was prepped to be shown at Star Wars Celebration 2015 alongside an official announcement before being axed at the last minute following a split between Disney and muted director Josh Trank. Why would you even hire Josh Trank? Jesus Christ, people. Don't you learn? Don't you learn? Josh Trank is the devil. He is the devil. If you're watching this, Josh Trank, I'm sorry, but you suck. The way you handle that whole Fantastic Four thing.
It's the worst comic book adaptation I've ever seen.
Like, not even just the movie, but like how he like spiraled into just absurdity.
Yeah.
You know, like the way he handled the interviews with Kevin Smith, I was like, okay, this movie sounds pretty good. You know, and if I was him, I would have been honest, but like, hey, Kevin, I can't do these because this is what happened. This is how everything, and the movie's not going to be any good. You know, I would have been freaking honest with it.
Yeah.
You know, and not even done it. But the way he spun this thing.
And then, if you remember, he didn't do the 4th part of that interview because it was supposed to be a 4-part episode. And then he just kind of spiraled out of control and went on Twitter and said, oh, this isn't the version that I made.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read that Fox is notorious with micromanaging.
Yeah.
But that whole project was doomed to fail from the beginning.
Well, and him and who was the guy that played Reed Richards? Do you remember?
In the new one?
Yeah.
Miles Teller.
Like him and Josh Trank got in a fist fight.
I remember
on
reading
set.
about
and
that.
it was just all of these kind of crazy things. And I would not blame Fox for coming in and taking control of the movie if their director is literally getting in a fight with the lead actor.
Yeah.
You know, so we previously heard that Trank was attached to the anthology film set to follow Rogue One, a Star Wars story, presumably meaning that Phil Lord and Chris Miller's young Han Solo movie was moved up the schedule from 2020 to 2018. It's unclear when or if a Boba Fett movie will be made. There are possible movies that we're talking a lot about. But we're planning to sit down in January since we will have had The Force Awakens release, now Rogue One, and we finished shooting episode 8. I finished episode 8. God, that's awesome. We have enough information where we can step back a little bit and say, what are we doing? What do we feel is exciting? And what are some of the things we want to explore? And in the meantime, Rogue One hits theaters on December 16th.
Fairly soon.
Yeah, it's right around the bend.
Mm-hmm. This has got to happen. A Boba Fett movie has to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that we were so close to it, can you imagine if they said nothing about it? And then they just boom, here's the trailer for Boba Fett.
Yeah. And they need to do it. Everybody wants to see more of Boba Fett. Boba Fett is probably the coolest character that no one knows a lot about.
Yeah. He's the coolest character in a movie who has done absolutely nothing.
Exactly, except for this.
Yeah.
He's no good to me dead.
Pretty much.
You know, that was about it.
I mean, when they announced they were doing spinoffs, that was the first thing I thought of. I said, I would rather see that than a Han Solo movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Easily. Like, the ones that I want a Boba Fett and I want an Obi-Wan.
Ooh, Obi-Wan.
I mean, we've talked about it off and on,
Yeah.
but bring Ewan McGregor back and tell what happened on Tatooine in between episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And hey, in canon, Darth Maul is still alive.
Yeah.
So bring Ray Park back as...
And have a battle between
and
them
have
on
an
Tatooine.
enraged Darth Maul, have them fight at the end of the movie, and then that's when Obi-Wan finally kills him for good.
Yeah. Have broken Matt Hardy as well in the movie.
I'd be okay with that. And all he says is delete.
And he's just like running through the desert.
delete.
I don't know why I brought wrestling into that, but I couldn't help it.
Well, broken Matt Hardy's awesome, so it's okay.
I would want Bane as well.
That would be a very good one, too.
Plagueis. Yeah. Plagueis would be freaking dope.
I feel like with the Bane one, that's an area of Star Wars that's never touched on in the movie. So that would be something completely unique.
Yeah, I think it would be a good way to expand it in a different region. That way we're experiencing a different time. You're not bound to the Skywalker, legacy or anything. It's this totally different area, and you've got all of these Jedi and all of these Sith, and you have this great war.
Yeah.
Like, it would be freaking amazing.
Something that wasn't in that article, but something I read the other day, it's rumored that after Episode 9, they're not going to do any Skywalker saga movies
I saw
anymore
that as
and
well.
focus solely on the spinoffs. What do you think of that?
It kind of depends on what they do with 8 and 9. If everything's wrapped up nicely, okay, let's go on some adventures, If they kind of leave it open-ended, then that nothing's going to stop them from going back to the well again.
And do 10, 11, and 12.
Exactly. And I think the characters that we have Rey, we have Finn, we have Poe, we have these great characters, and Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's going to be a really good bad guy. I think having these characters is setting up for a good, dark Episode 8, and then, doing the, not necessarily lighthearted 9, but the redemption story that's more than likely going to happen, or, Kylo Ren being ultimately defeated and die. There's only one way out. There's, you're either good or you die. You know? So that's how the bad guys always happen in these movies. So I think it's going to be really cool.
I think so too.
They just need to end it. Like, if they're going to go away from the story, like,
Then wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. Don't leave any loose ends. Don't leave any bad guys alive or anything like that. Kill Snoke, whatever. Just end it so we can do these one-off movies.
Yeah.
But I think Disney has seen Marvel be so freaking successful and building these movies that tier itself into something that I don't know if they'll do that. They might do a bunch of one-offs and then have something that combines.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. If they can definitively wrap up the story, then great. But I think they'll just be too tempted to go back to the well. Mm-hmm. It might be years from now, but I think we could see like maybe a decade goes by where we don't have an episode, if you will, and then they'll go back and say, hey, we're doing a new trilogy with 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah. And Chewbacca should have hugged.
Well, Abrams did come out and said that was a bad decision, which it was. Even I remember the first time I saw it, even I said that, I'm like, why is Leia hugging the girl that she barely knows, but she's not hugging the giant Wookiee who she's known for 30 years?
Yeah, made no sense. Made no sense. Speaking of Wookiees, Star Wars, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, when she's the one that's over everything, likens Han Solo film to Western and heist movies. She goes on to say this movie is closer to a heist or a Western type feel. She was talking to Variety here. She also said they're looking at the paintings of Frederick Remington, an artist who specialized in depicting the Old West, knowing the colors used by the artist will serve as the defining the look for the film. I think that'll be cool. I think
it fits.
Yeah, like Han Solo is known to be kind of like this cowboy-esque, space cowboy type deal.
Yeah.
So I think it works perfectly fine.
I totally agree.
And you've got Donald Glover, coolest man in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. We've said it once again.
And Chewbacca will be making an appearance.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah, like we talked about that last week. I don't know if you caught that in the last week's episode.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like in a statement about Emilia Clarke being in it, and it's like, oh, Han Solo and Chewbacca. And I'm like, no one has even said anything, and I can make it a big deal. So Chewie's in there. So I think it'll be cool.
It's bad that I'm gonna go see it. Obviously, but for some reason I'm not overly thrilled with a Han Solo movie, and I don't know if it's because it's not Harrison Ford.
I think it's because we don't know who this dude is.
Yeah.
I can't even say his name.
I can't either. It's Alden something.
Alden Heinrich.
Something like that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't like his name. Just saying.
I'm sure when the first teaser comes out, it'll look great, and I'll be like, okay, I'm sold.
Now, what was interesting, I just looked here, the movie is actually coming out in May 25th, 2018. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be, I guess they're switching from everything coming out in December, where the episodes come out in December, and then the one-offs coming out in May. I don't know why they're doing that. That seems a little weird.
I actually kind of like them coming out in December now.
I do too. I thought it was an abomination, like they're spitting in the face of George Lucas, but I like it. It's like a Christmas gift before Christmas.
And it's genius on their part because they'll release them right around the time that school gets out for Christmas. Families will go see them multiple times. Mm-hmm. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And plus, since it's owned by Disney has Marvel and all their other films sprinkled in the summer and throughout the year. And then December is Star Wars month.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's no reason for them to change the superhero movies being the summer blockbusters. Why put it goes back to how EA screwed the pooch with Battlefield and Titanfall 2, put it in the same month, and then Call of Duty's in there too. So move it out of the way and let it, be the king of quarter 4.
Yeah.
This just makes freaking sense to me.
Yep.